Hello, everybody, and welcome to the third episode. All right, I'm try to fix myself real quick. So, I had a thought, right? And it plays off of the second episode, which should have been uploaded probably this morning. So, the thought is what I try to ask myself, or what I try to tell people, and I guess why it also leads to me feeling so angry, me feeling so at times empty, me feeling so unfulfilled, is you have to ask yourself a very important question if you're ever going to achieve anything that means something. Now, it may mean something to you, but I'm talking about means something where your family can reap the benefits, maybe people outside of it changes lives, it changes the world, it changes certain things like that. Or are just the simple thing of how can I live my best life possible? And in order to even figure that out, you have to ask yourself, well, what life do I want, right? What is the best life possible for me, right? Is it me going and having my own farm and being able to not rely on anyone, and I have everything on my land, and I have my wife and kids, and we're just there, and I'll homeschool my kids, and I can spend as much time as I want with them, and whatever, and how you want to die or how you want to live your entire life is, I want to live on my own farm and own my land and stuff like that, and pass that down for the future generations, like a fucking Dutton family, right? If that is the way that you really would want to live, then perfect, right? You have a plan, or you have something that you can move forward to. So then in reality, it's, okay, well, how can you make money? How can you consistently put food on the table? How can you buy that land, right? How can you buy that land, build a home on it, or are you going to buy one that's already, like a plot of land that already has a home on it, right? But you got to think about that every day, and you have to think about, where am I going, right? Why am I waking up today? Now, obviously, you're waking up because you consistently were breathing through the night, right? And that's it. You ended up waking up. There was oxygen in your brain, and boom, there you go, right? And I'm not going to give you that answer of because God allowed you to wake up. Okay, sure, but okay, right? Whatever. But if you're not consistently moving towards something, then you're moving away from something, right? And if you're not moving towards what you want, well, then you're never going to get it, because it's like this. You set any goal whatsoever, and you have to work towards that goal. If I want to bench, the most I've ever benched, I was 130, and I benched 200. Okay. If I said, well, you know what, now I'm 150 and I want to bench 245, right? Okay, but by me eating McDonald's and eating Whataburger and eating In-N-Out and going to eat, I love Taco Palenque. But so if I eat Taco Palenque every day, I may be happy and saying, wow, this is great, but it's not moving me towards anything. If my goal is, I need to bench 245, I don't do push-ups, I don't bench, I don't do pull-ups, I don't do anything whatsoever, I don't even hold a goddamn plank or do any sit-ups, well, then I'm never going to hit that goal, especially at a 150 weight. So there's really no point in doing that or setting that goal if you're never going to move towards it. So it's being obsessed with the progress and being obsessed with where you're going, but it's also being obsessed, yes, with the journey, and that's how you're going to feel fulfilled, and that's how you're going to want to consistently want to do whatever, right? Now, for me, the way that I personally perceive it is, I look at, I'm not happy, right? I'm not, and I don't think I ever, maybe ever could be happy. And the reason being is because I don't have the life that I want. And the life that I want is, I run multiple successful businesses. I have something to pass on to my family and my kids. We have our own house, multiple houses. I have millions of dollars, and I leave something behind that not only can my sons run, my sons can run the businesses when I'm gone, but something that consistently gives them not only a source of income, but a purpose in life. Because there's a difference in, I want to build a company that makes 10 million a year or 50 million a year. Cool, great goal. That is a fantastic goal. But people say, right? People say, well, what if you have a son and he doesn't want to do that? And that, sure, but at the same time, if he really wants to do something else, by me having a company that makes millions of dollars per year, it gives him the opportunity to be able to do whatever he wants to do, because he doesn't have to worry about X, Y, and Z, at least while he's in the house or while he's, learning, or while he's doing something productive and working towards his goal. Because I'm not, even though I stopped living at home, 30, maybe 35 days after I became 18, that's when I stopped living at home. I'm not necessarily wanting him to have the exact same life. And so I got a text today, and it was from Kay. Kay is an individual I sold cars with. And so I was helping him move this past weekend, and 2 days ago on Monday, right? Today's Wednesday, June the 3rd. And June the 2nd, I'm in the wrong fucking lane. Okay. June the 2nd, yesterday, was my mom's birthday, right? So I took her to Ruth's Chris, and little side note real quick, or a different story. With Kay, I love Kay, right? He's been there for me, he supports me, he's one of the only individuals in my life that I feel has actually supported me, or told me that I could do something, right? Told me that I'm capable, and lifted me up. One of the only individuals I think in my life that has done that, right? And so, just not necessarily saying like, oh, well, that boosted my performance and that boosted my creativity and that made me feel like I mattered. Yeah, it did, but it wasn't, whether I had it or not, I was going to be me. But the difference is just how much it meant to me that someone I felt believed in me that much, and I didn't want to let them down. Same thing with Isaac. But so for Kay, when Kay's birthday came around and we went out to dinner, it was me and including Kay with 6-7 other people, and I took care of Kay and me on the same bill. Now, I'm 19, but my bill, there were couples there, my bill was the highest. I mean, I paid almost $400 for that dinner. It was $350. I paid $350 for that dinner, just for me and him, right? We went to the Capitol Grill. Okay, cool. For my mom, I told my mom, if I can take care of Kay, I can take care of you. I love you, Mom. Get whatever you want. Took her to Ruth's Chris, right? As a surprise. So, obviously she wasn't expecting it. And I was able to not only show her a good time and have her have fun and everything, but I told her, get whatever you want. I don't care how much it is. Get whatever you want. You want a bottle of wine? Let's get a bottle of wine. Got a bottle of wine, everything. So the overall bill came to $400, right? For me and my mom. And the moral of that, obviously, it's $400, right? It's not fucking $2,000 for a dinner for just me and her. It's $400. Still pricey, but it's nothing that I'm trying to showboat. What I'm saying is I texted Kay. I didn't tell him how much the dinner was, but I just texted him because he asked how the dinner went and how she liked everything, and he hopes that we had a good time, stuff like that, right? And so I had a conversation with him, and he said something, and he said, "I'm proud of how far you've come, and I'm glad that you were able to do that for her." And he said that, again, just that he's proud of me, right? So this is more of a father figure to me. But it got me thinking, and that's what made me want to create this episode. It got me thinking that I'm not a selfish asshole or prick or whatever, but I try to be not necessarily someone that's the nicest person, but someone that everyone and anyone can rely on, regardless of what phase of life I was in. And so that's why I support my girlfriend so much. That's why I try to support my mom as much as I can, or as much as she allows me to. And that's also why if Kay needs anything, I'm there. If anyone needs anything, I'm there. If they need help doing something, for instance, my neighbor. I didn't know my neighbor, but when I first moved in, she saw me moving in, said hi, gave me some housewarming present and whatever. And at 11 at night, she calls me and she's like, "Hey, can you help me?" And I was like, "Yeah, what's up?" And she's like, "My apartment's flooding. I need your help." And I was walking in a few inches of water, getting soaked. I just took a shower, getting soaked. But did I need to even respond to her text? No. But I did. And it's not like I owed her a favor or anything. I barely knew her. But it's the fact that if someone asks you for help, why not try to help them? And so the whole thing is that how Kay's dinner, my mom, me taking my mom out, and how that story all tie together is one, having the ability to be able to support someone is really the only reason why, as a man, you are of value to anyone or anything, any society, any relationship, anything. If you cannot provide value to anyone, there is no point in you, right? If anyone needs help, you always tell them no. Anyone asks for money, says, "Hey, I just need help paying my rent right now. I'm waiting for my check to get in, and I'm getting this much, so I'll have it paid in 2 days." And you don't have money, or you don't want to help them, well, then you're no use to anyone. And then after a while, you're just going to seclude yourself into a small little fucking pocket, and no one's ever going to talk to you. I mean, if I didn't provide value to anyone, now there's a difference between providing value to people and being abused and used by everyone. And you have to be able to discern between the two. But regardless, if you're going to be living, if you're going to have a life that is worth living, you have to be someone that is not only capable of helping those in need, but someone that people can trust, someone that you should want to live the life that people aspire for. Because there comes a lot of things with that. There becomes, of course, being an exceptional individual. Even when I was 18, I knew I wanted that. I knew what I want. I knew how I wanted to be perceived. I didn't know how to do it, but I knew that that's what I wanted, right? Life had to happen to me. I had to be thrown out. I had to be poor. I had to choose between food and gas and being able to get to work. I had to choose these things. But now, with me making $8,000 a month, being able to take my mom out and take Kay out in the same month, loan money here, loan money there, help people here, help people there, it shows me and it tells me that yes, that pretty much is the life of man, right? But having the ability to take care of someone that you love, or to do something nice for someone that you love, is all that life is really about. But the difference is that if you're broke, and not because women weaponize this saying, if you're broke, just say that, right? Those are the women, obviously, right? I don't think that it's hard to discern between it, but those are obviously the women that are trying to use and abuse you versus the ones that you would actually want to take care of, right? But if you're broke, you can't help anybody. You can't even help yourself. If I have $5 in my account, past maybe some McDonald's, I can't do shit with that. A Snickers bar, and that's it, right? But let alone if someone is asking me for help, I can't help them with $5, right? So, and I've had that happen multiple times where people are saying, "Hey, I'm falling behind on bills. Can you loan me $1,000?" Or, "Hey, my phone isn't paid." Like my coworkers have asked me for favors like that, and especially in sales when money is not guaranteed. And I'm having a great month, and they'll ask me, "Hey, my phone just got shut off. Can you give me $100, $200, or whatever, so that way I can go to the bank right now, or I can go wherever, and I can pay my phone bill, and I'll have it to you by next Friday." Shit like that. But if you can't do that, well, first off, you start becoming obsolete, and no one really cares about you at that. And that's where the saying, and a man has to pay to be welcomed into his own home. It's the same thing. But if you really want to do something, and again, you don't have to have a $500 dinner or a $400 dinner to show someone that you really love and care about them, right? But having the ability to do that, if you want to do that, is worth everything. Because it's like the saying, it's like saying, and this is how I felt, being able to live in your home and feel comfortable is worth more than just having a place to live, right? Because both of them provide the same thing, but that comfortability matters to you emotionally, right? But at the same time, having the option to do something and saying, "I don't want to do that," is way better than saying, "I can't do that," even if I wanted to. I don't want to, but I don't want to, right? But I can't do it even if I wanted to. So the whole point of this is saying that if you are going to be someone that not only can provide value to people, but people trust, people can rely on, and is someone that is able to provide value for other people and take care of those around him, first off, we should all want that, right? But you're going to have to put in the work to be able to do that. Now, what does that look like? Well, hey, for me, just 2 weeks ago, I don't need any money. I don't need to be working. I work about 90 hours a week. But to me, I don't need to do that. But it mentally, it's become such a big part of me that I need to do it. I at least need to work 70 or 80 hours a week. I just need to. And it feels weird, and I don't like it if I don't. So for me, I need to be busy. I need to do something. But let's just say I didn't. What are you doing? And I was like everyone else, where you work 3 to 4 days a week, you work your 40 hours, or you work, hey, you're 9 to 5, or 8 to 5, with your hour lunch break, like I was doing at Frost, and you work Monday through Friday, and you have a short day in the week if they want you to work Saturday, or they may have you off a day, something like that. So if that is you, okay, what are you doing to be able to move towards your goals? Because the hard part is, I've even encountered this, where I feel, fuck, it's hard to move towards my goal because I'm having to deal with just the everyday stress of just being able to pay the bills. And I felt that especially, one, when I was at Frost, and two, when I was in sales. Because I'm not really worried about how I'm going to fucking build a company when I got to worry about just getting my rent paid on time. I'm not looking to the future at that point. I'm looking towards the immediate right now. How do I get out of the situation? And I understand that a lot of people are in that situation, and especially with inflation, especially with rising costs, especially with the world right now. Just the fact that I can get 25 cents off a gallon and I'm still paying $65 to be able to fill up my tank. I understand these things, but the reality is one of two things is going to happen. Either it's going to be a problem for you or it's not going to be a problem for you. And if it's going to be a problem for you, you already know where that is or what that gets you. If it's not going to be a problem for you, how? Because you could just hope and wish that $100,000 cash liquid just falls right into your lap, or you just walk down the street and, oh, there's a duffel bag, what's in that? And it's cash. But the reality is, how fucking realistic is that? It's not. So the reality is that you're going to have to work just like everyone else. And you may not, like me, I don't have new ideas, things that people have never thought about. I have a drive that not a lot of people have. I have the wantingness to do certain things that people haven't done or that people aren't thinking about doing. But when it comes to ideas, like inventing something, I don't have any original ideas. And even if you did, or even if you feel like you did, there's so many people that are like that are the inventor type, the entrepreneurial type, where they scale a business. That's all what these, what the Dragon's Den, Shark Tank, that's all what that's for, is people who had an idea and they did something about it. And I think a lot of the time that those people that are on Shark Tank, they're very smart. A lot of the time. Sometimes they're fucking stupid, but they're smart enough to be able to create something unique a majority of the time. Sometimes they just see someone do something and then they do pretty much the exact same thing and just throw different branding on it. But I'm not someone that has original ideas. I'm just someone that can apply myself entirely and be obsessed or become obsessed with something. So if you're going to live whatever life you want, why not be obsessed with trying to get there? Because here's the thing. If I'm obsessed with having a six-pack or obsessed with benching 250 and it's all I can do, and I'm training, I'm looking up how I can increase my grip strength to be able to hold that weight, how can I increase my posture to maximize my effort and lower my risk of injury, how can I fucking whatever, right? If I'm obsessed with that and that's all I think about, the difference in the timeline it takes to be able to do or achieve that goal when you're obsessed with it versus when it's just something that is on the mind at times and gets thrown to the back burner, the difference in time of completion is night and day. And if you can complete something in an hour versus a year, why not? And it's the same exact thing with, it depends on the amount of time, and it's all mental. It depends on the amount of time that you allow yourself to complete something. If you give yourself, it's what they say, if you give yourself all day to clean your room, you're going to clean it and it's going to take all day. But if you give yourself 10 minutes to clean your room, it's going to be fucking done in 10 minutes. So it's all mental. So why, if your mind is one of the only things you can control, because you can't control whether someone has honor or not, or fucks you over, or is dishonest, or lies, or cheats, or steals from you, or does anything like that, you can't control that. But your mind is one of the only things that you can control, or you can at least control more than anything else. And if you can control that, why not be obsessed with setting yourself free to where you can then enjoy life for the next however long you live, but you got to sacrifice these 2 years, or you got to sacrifice 5 years, or you got to sacrifice 10 years. For me, what I'm looking to do to be able to create my business is it will take at least 7 years to do. At least. And that's if at least more than likely. And that's if I only do 50% of what I want the business to be. And if I want to do the rest, well then yeah, it's going to be over a decade. I'm going to be in my 30s by the time that I can become a business owner. But at the same time, if I kind of just said, oh, well, it's a good idea. Yeah, I mean, okay, I'll look into it. Well, then I'm not going to fucking look into it. But if you position it in your mind to say, well, that is going to get me what I want, and you attack it, and you really try to focus on it, and you have those, it's like people when they study for their finals, they'll spend all night and all day because that test is so fucking important to them. But the reality is that test, a majority of the time, it don't mean shit. Unless you really, really plan on going to college, I think college is pointless. Unless you plan on being a lawyer, a doctor, or someone in the medical field, law field, or someone that is, I don't know, an engineer type. Someone that does theoretical things, right? Quantum fucking physics or whatever. But besides that, every job on this planet can be done just by having experience. Now, obviously, as a lawyer, you can do the exact same thing, and that's what you do in college, is you sit in on different cases and you watch people and you listen to depositions and everything, but the reality of that is a little bit less, that you're going to be able to be a successful lawyer without actually having a degree. So anyways, what I'm saying is that each and every day you have to work towards being a better version of you, or work towards your goal. If you're going to be, one, anyone of importance, or two, live the life that you want to live versus the one that you lived, right? The one that just happened to you versus the one you actually wanted. And that's the problem with everyone, is that everyone, including myself, at certain points of my life, just goes with the flow. Life just happens, and day by day goes by, and it is what it is. You know, you're not really focused on the future. You're just focused on doing what you're doing right now. And I've fallen into that trap. And so once Frost came, I fell into that trap. Once car sales came, I fell into that trap. But I have to consistently remind myself, okay, what am I doing? What am I not doing? What do I need to be doing? What do I need to work on? How can I be more competent? How can I be better at the fucking game of life? How can I improve my odds of being able to not only be successful, but well-rounded enough that if I didn't have a business, how can I set myself up to succeed, right? And that has driven me to be able to almost make $100,000 a year at 19. And in addition to that, it's given me the ability that I have almost an 800 credit score right now. I got 5-6 credit cards. I'm looking to build all these certain things. And I'm looking to do all these other things. But it's way better that someone... Let me rephrase all of this. When you look at my life in comparison to any one of my peers, when you look at my life in comparison to even a lot of people that are 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years older than me, I triumph in so many different realms. And the reason being is because I told myself I don't have time. Because you do and you don't. But you really don't. Because all the time you have is borrowed until you don't wake up. And you never know when that is. I could have been distracted on my phone trying to make this video, and I could have crashed, and I could have been in a fucking 5-car pileup and died. You never know when it's gonna end. So try living now, but try being who you want to be and try being more valuable, and try doing what you want to do now instead of later. And figure out how to be the best version of yourself. Whatever that looks like. If it's, again, being the best fucking farmer on the fucking planet, fine. If it's being the best plumber, fine. If it's being the best social worker, fine. Whatever you want to do. But don't think about, I'm 19, and that's what everyone tells me. They say, you're 19, you have time. But then, at the same time, because I've gone and I've tried to do so many things at my age, and I have done so many things at my age, when I can blend in with the 23, 26, 29-year-olds, and then people learn I'm 19, then it invalidates everything I've done. So you don't have to play wise, but why not be wiser, right? You don't have to tell people I'm wise and I've done all these things. But if you can self-navigate scenarios by yourself where you don't need everyone else to be able to help you and walk you through how to do certain things and how to go get a loan and how do I apply and where do I even go or who do I call or how do I get a title transfer or anything, how do I negotiate, anything like that. If you don't need anyone to do that and you just put yourself in those situations where you either sink or swim and you learn how to do that, then you're speeding up your aging process fucking tenfold. And that's why in so many things, I have so many licenses now because for me, there isn't time to get them. There's not, oh, well, I'll be 25, 26, I can get my DOD card then, or my CAT card then, or I'm 19, what 19-year-old works security? Nah, probably not. I mean, let me go work at fucking Target or fucking Subway or fucking some retail store that other 23-year-olds work at. It's unrealistic if you're going to be exceptional. Now, it's something you can do while you're learning or trying to be exceptional and you're trying to get by and everything like that, or you're just trying to do as much as you possibly can, but that is not the formula for success. You being the best Subway employee is not the formula for success unless you plan on being the CEO. And then you got to figure that out. But you got to learn how to scale. But there's a lot of other components that go into that. And it's all about what do you want to do, where do you want to go, and who do you want to be at the end of the day. And how do I get there within the next year? And if it's a career path, how do I get there within the next 2 years? Because just like that room, if I say, well, how do I have a career within the next 15 to 20 years? It's going to take 15 to 20 years. But if I say, well, how do I have a great career within the next 1 to 2 years? More than likely, even if you fail, it's going to take 3 years versus 15 years. So attack life, grab it by the neck, grab it by the throat, and understand that you are the only one who can fuck it up, and you're the only one that can make your life a life that you would want to live and that other people would want to live. You're the only one that has the control to be able to do that. So try to be motivated, and if you're not motivated, try to be disciplined. And if you can't be either one, well then living a life that anyone would look at and go, wow, that's pretty fucking awesome, or wow, you should make a movie, or wow, you should write a book. Living any one of those lives, it's just not going to happen. It's just not what you're cut out for, and it's just not what you're going to do, and you have to go insane a little bit in order to be able to not only put up with a life like that, but live through a life like that. So if that's not you, that's fine, because it's not everyone. And that level of obsession is not for everyone, and it's not something that everyone can do. But if you can, or you think you can, give yourself the opportunity to be able to do that, to be able to prove to yourself that you are worthy of having a life that people want to write a movie about, to give yourself the opportunity to be able to live that life, and to give yourself the opportunity to be able to have those experiences that make life worth living. Because in today's day and age, we get so caught up with how do we live day to day versus how do we have a life worth living. So have a life worth living. It's all up to you. It's all up to each individual person to be able to either weed out the bad and create good, or understand what they need to do and the steps they need to take, and understand what that life looks like for them. So that's the end of this episode. It's a shorter one, but I'll see you next time.